Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to Kelsey's 2,000 subscriber celebratory hop. That is to celebrate Kelsey Webster reaching 2,000 subscribers, which happened a little while ago, but it takes us a little bit of time to put these hops together. And that right there was the inspiration piece that I am using. I'm actually doing a little bit of inspiration in other ways as well. If you follow Kelsey's channel, you know she is a proud dog mama. And so she scrapbooks Billy quite often, and so I decided to scrapbook our two pups. Now our two pups are not pups anymore. Actually, the male, the black one in the photo, he is no longer with us, and the female, she is 16 years old, and so I'm not imagining that she will be with us a whole lot longer either, because they're not small dogs. Anyway, so I decided to use them as my subject matter. And then also in a lot of Kelsey's layouts, she stacks the two photos on top of each other. So I went ahead and did that, and it's just like what's in the inspiration piece there. And she is a huge One Canoe 2 fan. So I pulled out some of the One Canoe 2 that I have, and I don't have a ton of it, so I just pulled out what I did have and worked with those pieces and picked a few pieces and decided that's what I was going to work with. Now I did trim down the edge of this plaid paper by 1/4 of an inch all the way around, so it would have a 1/4 inch reveal all the way around. Normally I go with 1/8 of an inch, so it's a 1/4 inch off of two sides, but I decided to go with a little bit bigger of a border because she tends to do bigger borders than I do, and she does usually do quite a bit of layers, and so I decided to go ahead and layer up some papers on the sides of my little photo mat there, and I really like how that looks. It's something I do as well, but I don't do it on every layout, and it is something that Kelsey does quite frequently, so I love the layered look. It's a lot of fun, and I actually love her scrapbooking. She has some beautiful pages, and she does use wood grain quite often. I didn't use a wood grain. I thought about it, but then I opted to use the One Canoe 2 papers, and so I am using my scallop punch there, and I'm punching a little piece here that I can use across the bottom. I thought I would want the wider piece, but I ended up going with the really narrow piece. And she has a scallop across the bottom on hers as well, so I decided that would be a good place to use it. And then I'm going to layer up some other pieces with that scallop piece that goes horizontally across the bottom of my photos. And I do like the way that that looks. So I've got these other little pieces. I'm just cutting off strips of it so that it looks like there's lots of layers, but I'm not actually using a ton of paper. It's a great way to stretch your scraps. It's a great way to make it look like you've added tons of paper, but you really, in fact, have not used much paper at all. If you have papers that you really just love, I suggest keeping the scraps, even if they're small, because you can tuck them in here and there and just use them as like little layering bits. You don't really see the pattern that's on them, so even if the pattern is not something that is like germane to your subject matter, it doesn't usually even matter because you don't see those patterns in any large scale or anything. It's mostly there for color and texture. So this little tiny piece that I was going to put across the bottom, I decided to layer it up on this gray washi, and I really like how it looks. It makes it pop a little bit more. It looks more intentional rather than like I just had this little extra bit that I decided to add across the bottom. And then I'm using that same scallop punch to punch this kind of goldenrod color and bring some of that down to the bottom. I like how that looks. And I'm layering the other piece right on top of it. And I knew I wanted of that the scallop piece that has the gray and the peach. I knew I wanted the peach over to the right hand side because I already have peach all the way around the photo mats. So I wanted to bring it in all the way to the right hand side as well, rather than having that go across the photo. So I really just like how it looks. And so as you can see there, I'm layering up some bits and pieces. I guess I didn't end up using the golden piece. I end up opting for that leaf paper instead. It's a lighter color gray, and I like how that looks. And so it just brings added detail down below. So there's a lot that you can do with your paper without ever actually adding an embellishment. Um, and then if you've got papers that you can fussy cut, you barely even need to have any embellishments because you can get so many embellishments out of those fussy cut papers. So I'm going to just mimic that same area that's down below the photos up in this upper right hand corner, which is very similar to what she's got going on in her layout. I don't end up using the title up above my photos like she's got. So I do end up putting some embellishments at the top of my photos, and that works out better for my layout. Although there's nothing wrong with having the title up there. I just don't really have a big title for this particular layout. It's just going to be the two dogs' names, and I am going to use some alpha stickers for those. So I'm trying to figure out which embellishments I want to use. I decide to use this tag. I'm going to go ahead and just trim it down, and then I'll use that extra piece of it down here by the photos. And I am going to move that one around a little bit because I do decide to use some florals out of that package there underneath my scissors. And that is like, I think it's, if I can read the package right, it's from Market Street or something like that from my mind's eye. And I've had these in my stash for quite some time. So they are very old, but I really liked the colors in them and the sayings. And they kind of had a bit of a One Canoe 2 kind of vibe to them. Now the florals are different than One Canoe 2's florals, but they kind of have that same feel, and they are the same colors in that peach and then the greens and stuff. So I just went with it, and I decided to go ahead and use it because it was there, and why go searching for more stuff when you have something that's perfect for it right in front of you? So that was my thinking anyway. And then I decided to bring in a little gold piece to each one of the embellishment areas, and then pop those gold pieces up onto some foam tape. I'm just using the cheap foam from Walmart. It is adhesive on one side, and so I'm going to use that to stick it down. And I think one of those says just the two of us, and I can't remember what the other one says, but they were just like the perfect sayings for the two dogs in the photos. Um, while I do that, let me just remind you, this is a celebratory hop for Kelsey, so make sure you go over to her channel and check out what she's got going on. There are a whole bunch of people playing along. The links to everybody's channels will be in my description box down below, including Kelsey's, and you want to make sure you go and give her a little bit of love. It takes quite a bit of time and a lot of hard work and dedication to get to 2,000 subscribers, and it's kind of a big deal. So make sure you definitely leave her a little bit of love. She really deserves it. She does so much for the creative community, contributing to so many different hops, and she's just very inspiring. She does a lot of album walkthroughs and all that kind of stuff as well. So if you're interested in those kind of things, you can find those on her channel. I don't tend to do, actually, I don't think I've ever done maybe, oh no, I've done one album walkthrough and it was my December daily. But I haven't never done a walkthrough of my large albums. If that's something that you're interested in, leave me a note down below. Maybe I would consider doing that sometime. But those are things that she's done on hers, and she's done them live on her Facebook channel or on her YouTube channel as well. So she has all kinds of different things going on, and she is super, super sweet, such a lovely person, and I just feel really blessed to know her and to be able to celebrate with her. So I have pulled out my Stamp Market stamps that have the little, it ends up stamping alphas, and then you run them through the die cut machine, and then you end up with little tiny tile letter stickers, or letters. You have to glue them on yourself unless you have adhesive backed paper. And so that is what I'm using for this. Typically I have another set that from Paper Tray Ink that I prefer, but these ones are a little bit larger. And the reason I prefer the other ones is because these ones all come cut apart. So now I have a lot of little tiny letters floating around, whereas the other ones come on a strip and I can pop them off when I need them, so it's easier to find the letters that you're looking for. That's the only difference, other than in my preference anyway. These ones are a little bit larger than the other ones, and that is why I'm using these ones today, because they are a little bit larger. Kelsey tends to use some um, alpha stickers on hers as well, and I don't know if they're stickers or a stamp, but they have like the little number down in the bottom right hand corner, kind of like a Scrabble tile. And I don't know how big they are, but I've seen it on several of her layouts. So I decided to use that as a little bit of inspiration and do some tile letters on mine as well. So that is why I chose to pull those in. And my title is just Dodger and Sasha. The black dog is Dodger, and the other dog is Sasha. And we have had them since they were like 6 weeks old. So um, there's not a whole lot more to the story except for that this was like right after we got them, and I wanted to make sure that got documented. So there is the close-ups. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video today. Again, be sure to go check out all of the other fantastic people playing along and celebrating Kelsey's 2,000 subscriber milestone. And congratulations to you, Kelsey. Thank you so much for including me in on the hop. I have really enjoyed it. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye now.